Network of awareness makes your brain coherent. One of the fastest growing podcasts. You can hear it 24/7. Got listeners out in London, informationalists in Paris. The echo spreading out, no parrot. Just dissect, digest, and share it. The righteous rhymes hit the spirit. Click 90 times, it won't perish. Cause y'all's the mind ain't no fairy tale like the belly our parents. It's time to rise, don't get wary. United minds, it's apparent. Download every single errand, but most ain't fit to catch it, even if they were Larry. Interviews, the interludes, they enter you, taking you on a journey like no other. It places you in a state of awareness. It's your fault if you hate the truth, cause Yahweh been Yahweh's on his way, my brother. Better change your views. All praise, yeah.
Peace and greetings. Presenting the Network of Awareness podcast radio station, providing in-depth information on society and culture in America and abroad, bringing you truth messages of inspiration, keen insight, reputable interviews, and so much more. So now, for the truth you've been waiting for, your host of the Network of Awareness podcast, Aura, the informationalist.
Nothing like this. Stage Screen Radio.
Peace and greetings, folks. This is Or the Informationalist, and you're now tuned in to Faith Over Fear Fridays from the Network of Awareness, baby. And we got a great show today. Today's episode 15, Science of Social Engineering. And listen, very important topic to discuss, because social engineering is something that's been used against us for quite some time, and it's constantly evolving. So we need to discuss that on Faith Over Fear Fridays. Besides other things, hope everybody had a wonderful week, and are now going into the weekend, ready to do some positive things. Maybe get some rest, some relaxation, some meditation, some elevation, some peace of mind. So, welcome to tonight's show. This is Faith Over Fear Friday, so we are going to play more music. And the good thing is that I have a couple of new instrumentals that I think y'all might like. So shout outs to all the people that are going to be joining the chat room. I see y'all, Mauricio, Danita. Shout outs to all the people that are going to be listening outside the chat room on the live broadcast tonight. And shout outs to all the people that continue to support by downloading the show around the world. Greatly appreciate it. Now, for the live broadcast, I'm going to keep this artwork because I have a hard time. Maybe I'll put it in sometime in mid-show when I'm playing music, but my artwork, for some reason, is not uploading. So I'll probably have it come mid-show or whenever I take an intermission. But hey, today is Faithful but Fair Friday, people. So if you're beginning your Sabbath, happy Sabbath. If you're enjoying your weekend and doing your thing, you know, having yourself a glass of wine or whatever it is you do, definitely enjoy this tonight's show because we're going to talk about something that's very important because this is a science that is used against us in almost every aspect of our lives, especially when it comes to technology. So, with that being said, brothers and sisters, let's get this show started. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to let you hear this quick beat that I put a couple of different sounds to. It's a little crazy. It's not the norm, but it's something. It's called Wavy Ride. Sounds like it'd be great for a video game, but let me know what y'all think. We'll start the show off with Wavy Ride. Then we got another beat that I call Worse Before Better. That one I'm a little bit more pleased with and how I put it together. And then, of course, we'll play some music throughout the show. So we'll be back. Welcome to the Network of Awareness.
Please just tell me what's happening to me in plain English without the mumbo jumbo. I built this shit. Me. Brick by brick. And I'll be damned if I let you tear it down just cause you don't like the way another nigga talk. How you doing?
Happy Faithful but Fair Fridays. Shout outs to New York, Colorado, New Jersey, California, Wisconsin, Arkansas. Shout outs to Connecticut, New York, Arizona, DC, Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina. Shout outs to Florida. Shout outs to all the Tampa Bay area peoples in the Sunshine State. Shout outs to Illinois. Shout outs to Spain. Shout outs to Russia. Shout outs to Trinidad. Can't forget Canada, India, United Kingdom, Brazil. Shout outs to Georgia. All right, people, we are back. And let me take off this reverb. So welcome to tonight's show. Very excited to be doing this show as we draw near to the second year anniversary of the Network of Awareness. It was just 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago, to the date, which was June 9th, that I officially aired my first episode that I actually felt the confidence enough to complete that show. And here we are almost 2 years later when I actually finally committed to actually putting something out and sticking with it. And it's funny because I didn't really stick with it like I stick with it now. I kind of did, I think, 7 or 8 shows in a 6-month period. So I kept somewhat consistent, but it was very slow. It was because I was very timid. I was very distracted. Had a lot of things going on, and I was not taking a lot of things serious at that time, except making money. But everything else was leisure time. And that's when I used to drink a lot of beer. And I used to go out a lot. I used to eat out a lot, and I used to just mingle and, get to know my environment on a recreational level. But then I started breaking away from all that. And then I really got disciplined in like January of 2021 is when I started getting this momentum. So after that 6-month period, starting in June 9th, when it came into January, starting the new year, I just started picking up momentum, and little by little, it got better and better and better. And here we are, over 300 episodes, still going strong. Still appreciate all the people that have supported this show, because all of that momentum and gain of some notoriety as far as in the podcast arena is really because of you people that are what I call my avid, dedicated listeners, where you dedicate time even when you don't have time, meaning like you could be those people that don't listen to the show for a week, but you'll make sure you catch up. And that's how I am with certain people's shows to present day. I've been a radio listener for a long time, since I was a kid. I was always into radio, especially like shows like Hot 97, Funk Master Flex Show, Red Alert. Damn, what's that other guy with Papito? I forgot his name. But so many different radio shows that I used to gravitate to. And then I gravitated to sports radio. And sports radio was a big thing for me when I used to work at this company, and a couple of the people did listen to it, and I enjoyed it. I even called in sometimes. Then I kind of grew out of that, did my own radio show that I actually was a guy that I had met and I was helping. And then I became part of the show as an executive producer and then radio personality, and made a lot of good changes to that show that improved the show. And then here we are, about 12 or 13 years later, after all that was done, back in about 2006, in that time frame. I'm very grateful to have this opportunity to do these shows that are educational, informative, and inspirational, and then somewhat entertaining, right? Because to some degree, all of this, whenever you're in the public and you require people's attention, there has to be some form of entertainment for people to have some type of comfortability or feel some sense of connection to what you're doing, because you can make them laugh or feel like something that they're watching is entertaining to them. But at the end of the day, a show like this, which I'm going to be changing the category to social sciences as the main category instead of the sub, is because a show like this, from what I've done on my analysis, is that it's good for society and culture. But what I really do is I break down social sciences when it comes to life and social interaction, and how that social interaction is interfered and manipulated, like we're going to discuss today. Because social engineering is something that is very prevalent in today's society when it comes to manipulations, when it comes to how our minds can really change in the way we think and the way we perceive things. So I pulled up some articles in regards to social engineering, and I'm going to discuss some of this with you, or at least, kind of read up on it. Now, when you look at the definition, and this is according to the dictionary within Google, it says the use of centralizing planning in an attempt to manage social change, regulate the future development and behavior of society. Bam, there you go. That's really what it is in a nutshell. Now, here's the second definition. The use of deception to manipulate individuals into divulging confidential or personal information that may be used for fraudulent purposes, right? Identity theft and things of that nature. And identity theft goes real deep. Cyber attack can go real deep. It's not just one form of doing it. It can get you in many different ways. Now, what does social engineering mean? It basically means all techniques aimed at talking a target into revealing specific information or performing a specific action for illegitimate reasons. While what is an example of social engineering? It could basically be from phishing emails and phishing attacks, where an urgent and an official sounding message convinces the victim to act quickly, to physical tailgating attacks that rely on trust to gain physical access to a building, that can all start with social engineering. What are the 6 types of social engineering? Now, the 6 common types of social engineering attacks are phishing, phishing, and smishing, and then pretexting, baiting, tailgating, piggybacking, quid pro quo, and then cyber threats beyond social engineering. What is social engineering? It's basically as defined as taking advantage of human weakness. We are in a time right now where we are being taken advantage of our weakness. And when it comes to the science appliance, that's probably one of the most advanced levels of successful social engineering projects that has ever been performed on a worldwide scale. And I say that because in a short period of time, something was manifested from an idea, really. But they made that idea real through the powers of media internationally, which is really the commercial media. And they used the commercial media to drive this level of sense of urgency, as it explains, to where that level of urgency put people in a state of panic, fear, and anxiety to act quick. And they did. And those that acted quick suffered greatly. And there's still that yet have to suffer. But at any given moment, in the way that it works, they can suffer at any given time. Now, it entails tricking someone into enabling access to data networks, divulging confidential information. It is a kind of deception that manipulates people and takes their advantage. Now, think about this too. Bill Gates supposedly paid under the table some secret deal with, what's the organization that he made this secret deal with? I think it was Telegram. No, not Telegram. Sorry. DuckDuckGo. Now, DuckDuckGo is a secret, pretty much great way to keep yourself safe from cyber attacks and people knowing who you are on the internet and being able to track you. That's what DuckDuckGo is good for. It's good so that you're not tracked. You don't have cookies tracking you. You don't have any backdoor tracking or anything, or piggyback tracking. Well, supposedly, Bill Gates has cut a deal, secretly with the founders and owners of DuckDuckGo, and now they're going to grant access to the Microsoft organization to be able to track the users on the browsers of any DuckDuckGo user that has it active. So, taking advantage of human weakness, people. What is another form or term of social engineering? What is another term for social engineering? It's applied social science, social planning. So that's why I do what I do, because a lot of what I talk about is social engineering. I talk a lot about that because social engineering really is now become the norm when it comes to government and how they want to manipulate people to favor whatever course of action they feel that we should take. And in order for them to successfully gain our confidence in doing so, they have to socially engineer our minds to want to even start thinking in ways that support their agenda. And unfortunately, the vast majority here throughout the United States and abroad, in the pockets of societies around the world, but especially here throughout the 50 plus states, is that they support a lot of propaganda and a lot of social engineering to the point where it's enough for them to continue their process of manipulation and depopulation. And that's why the 1/3, the 85 to 90%, that 10% of society that's left that has not yet been triggered by any type of social engineering and are sticking to the truth and are not allowing any type of manipulation to seep into their heart or mind. We got to stick together, people. Those that are us that are not socially engineered, because this socially engineering thing it goes so deep root into the subliminal subconscious mind of the human being that by a slow and gradual process, people will start to think differently. And it is the very reason why I put such emphasis on the science appliance, because many people were very willing to believe that to be true, even though there was nothing wrong with them, but used it as a way of saying, well, I don't want to get that, so I'm going to take the precaution. But there was not enough evidence to prove that there was anything to be in fear of, or even in the risk that you would have to take some proper precautions to avoid it. There was nothing that presented itself but just people talking. That's it. People talking, and that was good enough for people to have something put into their body. And it's very unfortunate, but it is what it is. And this is why all of these things are part of the spiritual warfare that I talk about. This is not a show about spirituality specifically. It is a subcategory because I do talk about spirituality, but the main emphasis is social sciences, people, because it is the applied social science that is affecting us greatly in today's modern society, especially when it comes to technology, because technology, along with this very strong push for transhumanism, is why we need to be very aware and prepared to be able to deflect, recognize, and avoid the manipulation behind social engineering. So with that being said, brothers and sisters, let's take a quick break. And let me check the chat room here. I haven't seen the chat room in a while. All right. Shout outs to brother Mauricio, Cook, Jacob. Shaloms to my Queen Letta. Shalom to Danita, Nama. Appreciate y'all being here with me this Friday night. Beautiful night here in the Tampa Bay area. It did rain for a couple of days. We're supposed to get a really bad storm that hits Florida. We'll see if it hits over here. Am I worried? No. Why? Because it's faith over fear. So check out this new beat, people. Let me know what y'all think. This is called Worse Before Better. Let's go.
Nothing like Stage Green Radio TV. Primo, baby.
Let's stay to that. For one chance, just one chance, to come back here and tell our enemies that they may take our lives, but they'll never take our freedom.
It's Faith Over Fear Fridays. Let's go.
This road is full of pain, but it's in the plan. The Lord knows you struggle and He's got your hand. The world is like a tower that's about to fall. It's hard, but through it all, you can count on
Thank y'all for a new day. Hands to the east, all praise Yahweh. Yeah, I'm feeling grateful, feeling good about all the choices I've made. Lord knows I ain't perfect, I live in a glass house. I stay humble, never ever try to act out. Never thought I'd make it this far, so I gotta thank God, cause I ain't even tapped out. I made a promise, I gotta keep it. If I don't, I'll feel defeated. I failed before, and I won't repeat it. But ironically, the failure is what I needed. wasted. Even though it's tough, I hope I make it. Come on.
This road is full of pain, but it's in the plan. The Lord knows you struggle and He's got your hand. The world is like a tower that's about to fall. It's hard, but do it all. You can count on.
To my brothers and sisters in truth, I pray that you make it too. Lord knows I do. Such dark times, everything's gonna blow like a landmine. 10 times worse than infanticide. Stay awake, bruh. It's all about one word. Bob Lettuce. I always gotta stay up, babe. Keep strong with the breastplate on and let Yahweh pave the way, cause He chose you. So embrace the pain. You ain't the same. You're like the ace of spades. You're the needle in the hay. You're different. You dedicated your life to walk in the Lord's way. Hey, so keep your head up. When you fall, get up. The Most High's about to hand you a crown. Long suffering, God's coming. A deep in the night. Wow.
This road is full of pain, but it's in the plan. The Lord knows you struggle and He's got your hand. The world is like a tower that's about to fall. It's hard, but do it all. You can count on God.
Hello, positive people. You are now tuned in to the Network of Awareness podcast radio station, giving you in-depth information on society and culture in America and abroad, with messages of inspiration, with keen insights, reputable interviews, and much more. So now, without further ado, your host of the Network of Awareness podcast, Aura, the informationalist.
And we are back. Keep forgetting to take this off, people. My bad. All right, so we are back. And I want to discuss a little bit more, or present a little bit more information, I should say, about the social engineering thing, people. Because are you aware? Are you prepared? Are you aware of social engineering? Are you really aware of it to the point where you make sure that you're not a victim of it, where you make sure that you're not suffering from some form of manipulation behind some social engineering that's got you making decisions that you're not even fully aware that why you're making them in the first place? And if so, definitely something to think about and something to be very much a student of, so that you can become more prepared to deflect this really subtle but powerful way of tricking you. So it's a very powerful way of manipulation because it's done in so many different ways. And when we become very complacent with the tools of technology that we use, we all are very susceptible to becoming victims of this. And I speak like this because I've been victim of identity theft at least 3 or 4 or 5 times in the past 10 years. You know, there was only 2 times where it was really bad, and then 3 other times where it was real, petty stuff, but it still makes a difference. You know what I mean? And that's just one form. But I'm going to read some technical information on how, when it comes to technology, what social engineering is and what it could do. Now, in computing, social engineering refers to the methods where cyber criminals use to get victims to take some sort of questionable action, often involving a breach of security. The sending of money, let's say, or the giving up of private information, right? Like a social security number or something. These actions tend to go against our better judgment and defy common sense. However, by manipulating our emotions, both good and bad, let's say like anger, fear, love, scammers can get us to stop thinking rationally and start acting on impulses without regard to what we're actually doing. That statement reminds me of church because I look at religion a lot with certain people acting in that same manner. Now it says, to put it simply, if a cyber criminal uses malware and viruses to hack our computers, then social engineering is how they hack our minds. Social engineering is a part of a larger con. It takes advantage of the fact that perpetrators and their victims never have to meet face to face. The main objective usually involves getting the victims to give up usernames, passwords, install malware on the device, send money via electronic fund transfer, money order, or gift cards, authorize malicious software plugin, extension, or third-party app, act as a money mule for the purpose of laundering and transferring illicit funds. If cyber criminals use malware and computer viruses to hack computers, then social engineering is how they hack our minds. Now, social engineering is only one part of a larger con. Now, if you take, for example, there is a Nigerian prince, right? Or this 419 scam. Now, I've almost was a victim of this back in the days with some peoples from South Africa. And I almost got, like, I wasn't close to doing it, but I was a little gassed up off of my experience. But I knew it was phony once I talked to the person on the phone. But with this scam, a cyber criminal emails you and claims to be the disposed Nigerian prince with a vast sum of money locked away in a foreign bank account. And in order to unlock the funds, the prince needs you to provide an initial amount for bribing the bank manager. In exchange, the prince will share some of his fortune with you. But the Prince Charming turns out to be a fraud. There is no money. The con is to get you to wire funds to the scammer. Once you realize you've been scammed, the money's gone. So where does social engineering come into play? By claiming to be a Nigerian prince, the scammer gives his con a degree of authority and victims are more inclined to respond. The theory that people will respond positively to someone that perceives as an authority is just one of psychology professor and noted expert on influence, Dr. Robert Cialdini's Principles of Persuasion, where Dr. Cialdini wrote the book on how to get people to say yes after years of research working as a used car salesman, telemarketer, and door-to-door salesman. Now, a lot of this is based on truth, people, because I can tell you, being in sales, there are ways of persuasion and there are ways to gear people to do certain things. But you see, one thing that I had to break away from, because I never really enjoyed it, was the manipulation factor of it all, where I started to gear my energy into just being honest. And what I started doing when I got into further into my career in sales is I just started telling the truth. And I started telling all the truth. And I used that as my way in to get the sale. And 9 times out of 10, it worked because people appreciated the fact that I was telling them what most people won't ever tell them. And I'll say that to you because if you're somebody that's in sales, try doing that, but do it in a very professional manner and do it in a way where it's your niche. Don't share it with your coworkers because you will have haters that will try to interrupt that flow. But that's what I transitioned to because the manipulation aspect of it is wrong. And it's why our governments, especially here in the United Serpents of America, are so strictly involved in social engineering and manipulation and using psychology as a method to make us enslave ourselves. And they do a pretty good job at it. So let's continue. It says, Dr. Cialdini's break the techniques of social engineering down into 6 principles. So here are the 6 principles, people. Reciprocity. Reciprocity. Whew, this one is a powerful one. This one was preached to me a lot in my career in insurance, especially as a manager. If someone gives you a gift, however small it may be, you're more likely to respond in kind with a gift of your own. With the Nigerian scam, the scammer has all but given you millions of dollars. The least you can do is help pay the nominal processing fee, right? Scarcity. Now, scarcity is huge because scarcity is probably the top 3 forms that government manipulates us to be compliant to their bullshit. And right now, when it comes to scarcity, our food supply is very much being presented as scarce. Is it not? Oh, wait. Absolutely, it is. We have a scarcity in overall money flow right now, right? Where they keep talking about recessions and depressions and all of this. So scarcity has been one of the top 3 methods in which this government has used for many, 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 many decades in order to take control and more control and eliminate any type of written down freedoms that most of us never had in the first place. Now, in 2019, Americans caught a glimpse of the end times when Popeyes sold out of their popular chicken sandwiches. People fought over the sandwiches. One man threatened Popeyes employees with a gun. Another man sued the fast food chain for deceptive business practices. People killed for the sandwiches, literally. That, in a nutshell, is scarcity. If consumers can have something, they just want more of it. That's why when there is a real food shortage, you are going to see some very savage-like behavior within human beings that you thought at one point in time were good people. But their addictions are psychologically rooted into their inner being, into the subconscious. And the body is going to crave because the mind is craving. So the body will follow. Authority is the third principle. Okay. Now, pretending to be royalty is just one way criminals can employ authority to manipulate their victims, right? But Malwarebytes Labs have reported on a number of different scam calls in which callers purport to be from some United States government agency, right? That's where fear comes in too. The victims, callers allege they owe money on back taxes or fines, and they don't settle up with the government immediately, they'll go into jail. I've had several calls like that from some dude from India saying his name was Ken. Hi, my name is Ken. I'm calling from the United States IRS. All right. So we also have consistency. Generally speaking, no one wants to come off as an indecisive. So when we say we're going to do something, we try to follow through. And if you can get someone to agree to something small first, they'll feel pressured to agree to something bigger. Now, you take, for example, the Money Mule scam working on behalf of the scammer. Money Mules accept illicit funds from one account, then transfer it to the scammer. Now, even when the legality of the operation comes into question, victims tend to follow through, not wanting to back out on their word. Dum-dums. Dumb. Fifth principle is liking. This one is very powerful, people, because one thing we used to focus on in sales, and when I used to be in the industries of sales, especially when it's insurance. Now, I'm still in sales to a certain degree because I sell myself now, and I sell my services directly. And I'd rather sell myself and what I do independently than sell anything else, people. That's just straight up. I'd rather sell what I can do because the Most High gave me the ability to do things at a great level. So I'd rather sell that as services to help my peoples or to help people in general that see value in what I do. So shout outs to those that do and shout outs to those that will in the future. Liking is a great example of liking in social media posts, supposedly like from Ellen herself from the Ellen DeGeneres show. Scammers cut together videos of the popular daytime talk show speaking about her favorite charities along with the request to share the post. Because the victims like Ellen, they're more inclined to share. Ellen then reaches out directly to those who share the post and asks them to download one of her films for a chance at winning $1 million. Now, of course, there is no $1 million, and all the victims have to show their effort is a subscription in an illegal streaming site and pirated copy of Mr. Wrong. Last but not least, consensus. Consensus, you probably heard the expression, if everyone else jumps off a bridge, would you? If you have, then you're familiar with the concept of consensus. People are more inclined to respond affirmatively if they think everyone else is doing it. And let me tell you something, people. I see that in a lot of different groups. I see this group thought mentality, and it's pretty pathetic. If you ask me, you have to be an independent thinker. It is great to be an intelligent follower, but it's worse to be a blind follower and then become so blinded that you don't use any intellect in your following. When you are following anybody I follow their content and I may follow them, but I am not devoted to everything they say. I don't worship people and I don't blindly follow people. And if somebody tells me something, or if I gain information from a particular source, I am going to do my own homework to make sure that whatever information is being provided is valid. And that I can, more importantly, validate that truth by actually experiencing it for myself. But if I don't have the opportunity to do that, I'm going to dig into that research to know that truth on my own, opposed to just listening to somebody say it. And I say that to say this, that goes for the present moment, that whatever I say, do your research on your own, people, because it's always good to know things and to hear things, but it's better to know them so that we can apply them ourselves. All right. But I appreciate y'all all for taking the time out to get this information, because I think a lot of times us that choose to be messengers or to be presenters or to be people that provide services, we have a great responsibility, but it's also for others to respond to the abilities that we are displaying and showcasing and presenting, if that makes sense. So these are the 6 principles, right? Because when it comes to consensus, as it applies on the online scammers and malware bite labs have reported that fake charitable organizations emerging in the aftermath of a natural disaster, like let's say Hurricane Harvey, Hurricane Katrina, even these school shootings, you're going to see some of these organizations sprout up and they're going to be there to scam you. And criminals, what they do is they use this type of consensus of support and sorrow and that emotion of feeling, sorry for the death and the trauma. So even though people are not experiencing the trauma outright, people still are experiencing it on a subliminal level because they're seeing it. And then the news is constantly focused on it. And that's what they want you to do. They want you to become so weak and empathetic that it blinds you, and then you start to become supportive of whatever it is they're presenting, as well as whatever agenda they will present in the aftermath of this, like gun control, and starting to write bills that are going to make it to where they're not going to sell you guns if you're eligible for one, or they're going to try to take away the ones that you currently have on file. That's just a fact, people. You smell me? You feel me? Because that's what it is. Now, here's some terms when it comes to types of social engineering tracks, when it comes to your technology and your cyberspace activity. You got email phishing. It's the most common type of attack that it features social engineering and targets to receive spam and spoofed to look like there was some sent by a company, or I get this all the time, by the way. But I delete them, I report them or whatever, but they target our trust. The emails are remarkably easy to create nowadays using off-the-shelf phishing kits that contain pre-designed email templates that look like they're being sent by Apple or Amazon or some other well-known company. The email contains a link into a phishing site designed to collect username and passwords. Then you got the Trojan. Trojan refers to any kind of malware pretending to be something it isn't. Just like Trojan horse of Greek fame, computer Trojans contain destructive payload. Email attachments containing hidden malware are a form of Trojan. They trick as it applies to social engineering and when the email appears to originate from a trusted sender, such as a coworker, friend, family, company you do business with, you're more susceptible to accepting it. You have spear phishing. You have SMS text messaging phishing. I was a victim of this. That's why I had to change my number. About 6 or 7 months ago, I changed my phone number. You also have tech support scams where those people, the problem with tech support scams is you got to be a real dum-dum. I'm going to tell you something, because anytime I hear like a foreign voice or some type of Indian accent that's speaking English, oh, you're not getting me, yo. You know, but you'd be surprised, man. A lot of people, they fall for these types of scams of social engineering. Now, I'm going to briefly discuss a little bit of history behind social engineering. The scam, the origins of the late 18th century letters from Jerusalem Khan. Okay, check this out. In the aftermath of the French Revolution, France prisons were filled with industrious scammers, all claiming to be the valet of a French nobleman. While attempting to escape persecution or execution at the hands of angry revolutionaries, the valet hid his master's treasure, only to be imprisoned before he can retrieve it. For a modest sum, the prisoner offers to provide a map revealing the location of the treasure. According to contemporary account from one of the scammers, 20% recipients responded to those letters. And the success of the Jerusalem scam gave rise to a 19th century variant known as the Spanish prisoner scam, named after the supposed European nobleman at the center of the scam. The nobleman, as the scam goes, was wrongly imprisoned in a Spanish jail and needs the recipient's help in exchange for providing the funds necessary to secure the nobleman's release. Allowing him to return to his younger daughter, the victim is promised a significant return on their investment, namely buried treasure or funds hidden away in a foreign bank account. The Spanish prisoner scam improves upon the Jerusalem scam in two major ways, where the Jerusalem scam targeted victims seemingly at random. The Spanish prisoner scam claims to be a distant relative of the recipient, even going so far as to call out the victim's deceased relatives by name in a kind of proto-spear phishing. Spanish prisoner scammers also shifted the narrative focused of the letters away from the prisoner to the nobleman's impoverished daughter. You see, and by doing that, psychologically, somebody reading this letter is going to feel a deep level of remorse, especially if they're a parent, because they know what it's like. They have that emotion of what it's like to have a child, right? To be a mother or father. The Spanish prisoner scammer also, I read that. With these changes, the story became less about personal enrichment or outright greed and more about compassion, appealing to a different and potentially broader group of victims. The advanced fee scam continues to evolve through the 20th century with the rise of internet. Advanced fee scammers were no longer limited by the cost of a stamp or number of letters that they can write in a day. The internet allows them to copy and paste messages and spam thousands of potential targets within a few simple clicks. And in the past, scammers might select victims carefully based on factors like wealth and location. But now, victims today self-select by simply responding to an email that was sent to thousands of other targets. Victims reveal themselves to be susceptible to the fraudster proposal, however implausible it may be. The modern version of letters from Jerusalem, commonly referred to as the Nigerian Prince or 419 scam, once again involves a mysterious stranger, vast sums of money, and an offer too good to be true. And a lot of reasons why people, and it's something that's not discussed in this article, why people from a psychological perspective are very easy to scam in situations like this that require compassion, empathy, or some type of remorse is because a lot of people, especially in this country, in the United States of America, are very much depressed. That's why the pharmaceutical industry makes a killing here, because there's a lot of antidepressant drugs and so many different types of depression illnesses within the minds of the masses. And when you have, let's say, like a widow or a divorced woman or man, or if you had somebody that lost a child, these types of people are going to be even more susceptible to being victims of the scam, because their brain is going to automatically trigger those emotions of despair, pain, and depression. And they're going to go with it because they're going to feel like it's giving them a sense of purpose and something that's going to make them feel good from the current state they're in, because they relate to this stuff. And this is why it's so important that we understand social engineering, because it comes in many different forms, people. Technology has made it huge and consistent, but it comes in so many different forms. There are people in your life that are currently trying to social engineer you within your peer groups, within your community. And this is why it's so important to have this type of awareness on a consistent basis. Now, I want to take some time to answer some questions. So what I want you brothers and sisters in the chat room to do, if you like, is if you could please write your questions in the chat room while I play some music for this instrumentation, and then I'll come back and I'll answer all those questions accordingly, the best way I know how. And, let these questions be about manipulation, social engineering, because there's so many different, ways it could be covered. So whatever question you want to ask, or whatever question you want to ask for that matter, it don't even matter, to be honest with you. It doesn't necessarily have to be about social engineering, but whatever you want to ask, put it in the chat room. I'm gonna be right back, and we're gonna play some of this music, and then I'll come back and answer those questions.
Nothing like Stage Green Radio TV.
More tribe beats, baby.
Shout out More Tribe Beats. She said she don't fuck with fake, she the realest. Ayy, shorty got a heartbreak, I can heal it. Ayy, I be so high off life, I can't feel my face. She wanna rock like Chris Rock, I'm the head of stay. She said she don't fuck with fake, she the realest. Ayy, shorty got a heartbreak, I can heal it. Ayy, I be so high off life, I can't feel my face. She wanna rock like Chris Rock, I'm the head of stay. You know I be starving, where's the feedback? Ayy, I'm out of this world, ET, where the weed at? Ayy, these haters is soft, I gotta go harder. Her saliva tasting like coconut water. The energy training, I gotta go charge it. I punch it, I kick it like bitch, this is Sparta. Let me slow it down for all of my people. Ayy, the way I sound, I know it seem evil. Ayy, but I promise, homie, I be so righteous. If you can't see it, then open your iris. See it. In the streets like Sesame, I don't see why not. They be trying to impress me, I just be like, stop. Little brody be trying to diss, I be like, man, what you talking about? Little brody like 26 and you still live at your mama house. Every time I bust a flow, I see wavy waters. Every Friday I see your hoe, I'm like, hey, Miss Parker. But I don't want your hoe, cause I'm way smarter. I would love to help out, but I ain't the father. Better tell your man to handle his business, ayy, so he don't have to be all of my business, ayy. In all black, think that I'm gothic. It's prophecy, I collect the profit. She said she don't fuck with fake, she the realest. Ayy, shorty got a heartbreak, I can heal it. Ayy, I be so high off life, I can't feel my face. She wanna rock like Chris Rock, I'm the head of stay. She said she don't fuck with fake, she the realest. Ayy, shorty got a heartbreak, I can heal it. Ayy, I be so high off life, I can't feel my face. She wanna rock like Chris Rock, I'm the head of state.
I love the This show is called Music, Satan's Favorite Gateway, because music can be a demonic portal.
You are now tuned in to the network of
by that, everybody knows the popular quote, what goes in must come out, all right? Because whatever you feed your mind and soul is going to eventually reflect in your actions and your thoughts.
How you doing? It's a fight to the finish, just like Tyson and Silas. The spirit guides me to finish. To touch you, I hope you feel it. No doubt, and that's for the pigeons. Fist right to the villain of evil, manipulating this generation of children. The things I see in the media got me heated up. Girls barely in their teens used for pedophilia. Celebrities simply misleading them. How can you live with yourself, knowing damn well that you deceiving them? Feeding them nonsensical bullshit for their mental, like it's cool to be famous when you know it's detrimental. Y'all convince them that it's hard work, dedication, and God. Last time I checked, we give all our praises straight to Yahweh. Hey, come on, the music is more than just vibes. It keeps us pushing forward every day of our lives. It's my 9 to 5 to do it and do it right. You know I gotta stay on the grind.
If deception was the only way that I could reach the me, I would stop rapping in a heartbeat. Music is a way of praising Father Yahweh Elohim, but Babylon tells you chase the dream. Infinite songs, but only 1/3 of it is living up to what it's supposed to be. Thank Elohim for the remnant who understands the power of music.
The fear of COVID got people so petrified. In one's life lies out and Satan choose a side. A lot of righteous haters try to play both sides. They lack faith and work so spirit stays penalized. I realize life is hard without the Most High, and he who knows there's much to learn is really wise. Mad grateful to be alive to see the sun rise. Try to stop my vibes, I'm exercising swords and arms. I'm in my prime, righteously prepared to shine and grind. So shocked and surprised every time you analyze my rhymes. Cause orbits align with stars you can't even find. I spit that light that leaves chills up and down your spine. You coulda, woulda, but didn't. Who you kidding? And my fans frontin' forbidden. Who the fuck is you fibbing? You better think twice before you think I'm tripping on y'all children. If you feel hard, then we gonna make you harder hearing.
If deception was the only way that I could reach the me, I would stop rapping in a heartbeat. Music is a way of praising Father Yahweh Elohim, but Babylon tells you chase the dream. Infinite songs, but only 1/3 of it is living up to what it's supposed to be. Thank Elohim for the remnant who understands the power of music.
Feel like music influences your behavior or people's behavior?
If you allow music to do it, it's a difference. Like I said, there's people out here who could consume music one way and not, well, at least they feel that they're not affected by it. There's other people who live their life through music. Like anything that certain artists say is Bible to them.
The mind of the soldier holds stars deep as an ocean.
He chosen focus, devoted to get a crown and a road with it.
Road is narrow and focused, you can tell by the way in which he flows with it.
None of these rappers, y'all opposes a lost soul in them.
Holding them all accountable for the music controlling them.
Countless of 100,000s of soulless people supporting them.
Righteous music accounts, most folks won't go to them.
Don't worry about it, cause Yahweh knows who the chosen is.
Shalom to them for constantly dropping projects for y'all to spin.
Food for the spirit, once you hear it, now you confident.
Daily battle, fighting hard like we in a boxing gym.
Babylon ain't looking tall no more, she needs oxygen.
Got the win, still got motions floating that we got to live.
Positive, roller coaster, corporate, watch cooperative.
Jab now, cry later, just not with the consequence.
Zombies swelling in the dark, my direction where Yahweh is.
Destined for greatness, but not the kind that you're thinking of.
Pointless being famous in a realm that the demons run.
Yet, you still got takers who making vibrations.
Elated egos and cadences leave you feeling all vacant.
Cause Satan takes them and breaks them and makes them look real amazing.
They gazing phase in the matrix, embracing the fake and awaken.
The cake and bacon temptation persuades to change your foundation. If Yahweh in your brain, you'll end up this combobulation.
I built this shit. Me. Brick by brick. And I'll be damned if I let you tear it down just cause you don't like the way another nigga talk.
In one's life lies Yah and Satan shoot aside. In one's life lies Yah and Satan shoot aside. In one's life lies out and Satan's truth side. A lot of righteous haters try to play both sides. In one's life lies out and Satan's truth side. In one's life lies out and Satan's truth side. In one's life lies out and Satan's truth side. A lot of righteous haters try to play both sides.
Arms on, legs on, chest on, heads on, armor.
Stay on it. Stay on
Arms on, legs on, chest on, heads on, armor.
Stay on
Arms on, legs on, chest on, heads on, armor.
Yeah, welcome to Faith Over Fear Fridays here at the Network of Awareness. Download the shows at networkofawareness.com. Soon coming to Roku and Internet TV. We got networkofawareness.tv, baby. We're gonna have subscriptions for you brothers and sisters for the different types of shows that we'll be featuring. And content will be filled in monthly. And there'll be more than enough content for your monthly viewing. Way more. Let's go.
Giving praise every day, straight up to Yahweh. Giving praise every day, demons, yeah, we slay. Giving praise every day, straight up to Yahweh. Yeah, we giving praise, all praise to Yahweh. Israelite, yeah, the most I've been my light. He enlightened me and make me see some things the sheep just won't believe. Mysteries will be revealed unto the meek, just keeping the commandments. Those that are chosen understand it. Yeah, yeah. Shalom to all my brothers and my sisters. We deliver, living different. We enlighten, never frightened. Faith remains in Yah. Keep it poppin'. Shout out to Yashkara on 7stage.com. The warriors, lions, tribe of Judah. We the highest. We the chosen ones. Yeah, we never run. We keep on climbing. Yeah, we here for the win. Giving praise every day, straight up to Yahweh. Giving praise every day, demons, yeah, we slay. Giving praise every day, straight up to Yahweh. Yeah, we giving praise, all praise to Yahweh. How can't they see the shit that's going on? Be on me, you in the dark to stay away. Might try to steal my light. We have to stand, have to fight. Yeah, you been my mind, you been my eyes, so I can see you everything I need. Yeah, never rely on man, always agendas, but y'all always got the bigger plan. Yeah, it's so tremendous, and his weapons is commencing. Called the 1/3. I know you heard we about to kill off all the demons. If you with us, you believe in Barakatah. Yeah. chosen ones. Yeah, we never run. We keep on climbing. Yeah, we're here for the win. Giving praise every day, straight up to Yahweh. Giving praise every day, demons, yeah, we slay. Giving praise every day, straight up to Yahweh. Yeah, we giving praise, all praise to Yahweh. Giving praise every day, straight up to Yahweh. Giving praise every day, demons, yeah, we slay. Giving praise every day, straight up to Yahweh. Yeah, we giving praise, all praise to Yahweh.
Okay, alright. Add it up. Okay, alright. Add it up.
Now you see something. Now you see now. Now you see now. You done fucked up. You done fucked up. You done fucked up. I see. I see. No. I see. No.
Low kick.
They know I got the 9 on me.
Yeah, you know I got the 9 on me.
It's time to ride or die, homie.
Yeah, it's time to ride or die, homie.
Man, this how we survive, homie.
Yeah, this how we survive, homie.
That's why I keep the 9 on me.
Yeah, you know I got the 9 on me.
This word is for the wise, either ride or you gon' die. It's the blind leading the blind. We've been fighting for our rights, now we fighting for our life. Still no light I see inside, but I see the light inside and pray I don't go out my mind. I got a 9 in my hand and a couple of bullets. All I need is a reason for me to load it and pull it. There goes one in the shoulder, another one in the leg. Gotta finish the job and put another one in his head. I was told it's him or me, I'ma live to see another day. Killer do the killing, I don't see it any other way. People do the talking, I don't care what motherfuckers say. Keep your social distance or you getting blown the fuck away. No more Mr. Nice Guy, gotta be the bad boy. I'm on high alert, I got all of you niggas paranoid. I'm way too much at peace for you to ever bother mine. That's the bottom line, cause we all live in them all time. The 9 on me.
Yeah, you know I got the 9 on me.
It's time to ride or die, homie.
Yeah, it's time to ride or die, homie.
Man, this how we survive, homie.
Yeah, this how we survive, homie.
That's why I keep the 9 on me.
Yeah, you know I got the 9 on me. Do or die till I die, homie. I leave a nigga paralyzed, homie. What you know about the 9 on me? With that 45, feel like plies, homie. I look up at the sky like I'm the guy, homie. Got them grinding off the muscle you supply for me. What you know about your bestie trying to ride on you? I ain't never tell, bitch, I define loyal. That type of other shit just make my blood boil you. How you hate me after all the shit I done for you? Now I'm forced to get my head right, but that's kinda hard when you to dodge death twice. Respect life, but this ain't a show, I'm dead nice. I'm the one that could bring us to the next fight. Shed light over everything bad, I'm the one with a gun, it's a tech bite. Blah.
When the light has faded and darkness is abroad, the light is only dim because the darkness teaches us lessons that need to be learned in order for one to move forward. Embrace the darkness, for the darkness is your friend. So there is no end. It's only an illusion to what has been. Follow the light and let the spirit embark on a flight to a destination unknown, but to a place where love is the building blocks that call this place home. We are always accompanied on this journey, but still feel alone. It is never the same journey or experience that is ever shown. It is your imagination that awakens the passion that will weather the storm, because it is a pure compassion in the soul that is vigorous and strong. One with eternity, so let's be connected to the positive stream that allows us to fulfill our infinite destiny, most definitely. Let's strive to be the best people we can be with a power that is humanly new to see. So mistaken dismay can lead us astray, so let us stay, for it is our free will that allows us to make a choice. So I choose Yahweh with no delay.
Hey, hey, hey. Hey, here I am. Should I kick down the door? Or bust in the window? Or knock on the door? Or peep through the peephole? I finally don't made it inside. Finally. You probably wonder what I'm doing here. Looking for pieces from my past. Running y'all to find them. If I find them, I can put them together. I just want to take a seat and sit down instead of the puzzle. I just want to know what I did wrong. What I got to do to fix it and make it right. Cause right now I'm sitting in darkness. Praying y'all to beam the light down. On the location of the puzzle, on the area I need to visit next. Hey, I spotted me on Marcus. Let me write on the wall that I've been here. On that I cried and reminisce. On the bullshit that I did in my past, I was a dumbass. Straight from the gutter to the porch. While I jump off the porch when getting ready. Running y'all that hold me steady. Wiping my last tear as I head out to my journey.
Open up, let me in, let me in. I'm looking for him that can change my life and clean all my sins. Clean all my sins. Not looking for Jesus, not looking for God, I'm looking for Yah. And I'ma keep getting louder, louder. Every time I knock. It's been a long journey. Had to walk it all solo. I'm trying to live forever, ever. Never yelled out YOLO. Never yelled out YOLO? No. Do you play both sides? No. Do you like to get high? No. Are you scared if you die? No. I've been through the fire, I'm tough enough for that spiritual armor. I done found a Messiah. Tell mama. My head's high, now I'm laughing when they try to bring the drama. Arms on, legs on, chest on, heads on, arms.
Family, I'm honored to spit on this. You are in the splash zone, I don't need no helmet. This is special to me, metaphors crazy. About to butcher this beat, Micah Myers psycho. Never been unstable, I am very faithful to my sisters, to my brothers. Yes, we come from different mothers. Shout out to the Hebrews, the one who is righteous. The other knuckleheads need to drown in the ocean. Very fortunate that I found a real family, the ones you know your whole life. Turn on you swiftly, on and off like a light switch. Two personalities stay very far away. Real artists on here, we are here to stay.
we need to be. Thank Father Elohim, he believes in me. Hands to the east, on my knees, can't achieve without the King of Kings. It's a pleasure, it's an honor to serve the Son and Father. I feel content. Thank you, Lord, for the wisdom and knowledge, cause here I am, here we are, till the end, standing strong. Every day, heads up high, to the sky we battle on. The breastplate is strapped on, this is Babylon. No time for games, no time to play around. This ain't basketball, the path we're on is extra long. 1/3 is excellent, we keep the loss to the best of our ability with humility. Man, it's hard, but the euphoria keeps us pushing forward. Ain't no grumpy old troll put us down, not even Kobe, no. Cause truth is a journey and it's a test of fate. A tough fight, yeah, but here we are. All praise Yahweh.
I'm a little concerned right now about your salvation and stuff. How come you have not been baptized?
Because I never got around to it, okay? I don't know why you always have to be judging me, because I only believe in science. Science, 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 science.
I made mistakes on purpose to divide the word from the worthless. Reveal the facts to be certain. No pain, no gain in the verses. My faith been alive before churches, cause Yah is person on person. So I'm worried about complicated versions, cause the call to divine divergence. I'm still hurting, soul searching, networking and murking. Anytime think I drop my curtain, with a spirit that city suburban. I'm seriously merging and physically working on my purpose to lyrically service the mental malnourished until I perish.
Yahweh's gonna save the awakened, then take him to an ageless haven. Patient, I can't straightway, gotta keep obliterating the pavement. Still remember that day on the phone, Mark, he said, yo, don't you take your foot off the gas. Always something to give y'all praises.
We're in a dark oasis, for countless cases, a peak of faithless. I'ma need the patience, defeat them chases. We seek his graces for true salvation. We keep on praising, we go on blazing these revelations. Cease to hate, no altercations. Good vibrations, we back to basics to build foundations. Y'all defeated Satan. I done made mistakes on purpose to divide the word from the worthless. Reveal the facts to be certain. No pain, no gain in the verses. My faith been alive before churches, cause Yah is person on person. So I'm worried about complicated versions, cause the call to divine divergence. I'm still hurting, soul searching, networking and murking. Anytime think I drop my curtain, with a spirit that city suburban. I'm seriously merging and physically working on my purpose to lyrically service the mental malnourished until I perish. People pursuing acts of violence, their persistent act of defiance, freely forming a righteous alliance, truly against the science appliance. On a mission with wisdom and guidance, steady defeating the ignorant science, sealy convicted and non-compliant. Spiritual wars, they're moving silence.
Let's talk about what matters. Drop the vanity, folks out here losing their sanity. Kids popping off, lost in fantasies. People grieving over loss of family. The evil that be with the power, turning the people with credence to cowards, seeking to seize believers with vows. Man, even Stevie can see that it's foul.
I done made mistakes on purpose to divide the word from the worthless. Reveal the facts to be certain. No pain, no gain in the verses. My faith been alive before churches, cause Yah is person on person. So I'm worried about complicated versions, cause the call to divine divergence. I'm still hurting, soul searching, networking and murking. Anytime think I drop my curtain, with a spirit that city suburban. I'm seriously merging and physically working on my purpose to lyrically service the mental malnourished until I perish.
Depression gone with every song, music led by another echelon.
To get you strong, keep pressing on, long after we dead and gone.
From dusk till dawn, we're righteously armed with spiritual lessons from Yah.
We where we belong, we keep it on, the righteous with third of Zion.
Records embellished with heavenly eloquence.
Elohim's presence presently evident.
Intricate elements, infinite intelligence.
Spiritual specimens lyrically resonant.
The gift was inheritance, smaller percentages.
Carefully measured and meant to be shared.
With the message projected, cemented, embedded.
The sensible question is, what would you give from it? I made mistakes on purpose to divide the word from the worthless. Reveal the facts to be certain. No pain, no gain in the verses. My faith been alive before churches, cause Yah is person on person. So I'm worried about complicated versions, cause the call to divine divergence. I'm still hurting, soul searching, networking and murking. Anytime think I drop my curtain, with a spirit that city suburban. I'm seriously merging and physically working on my purpose to lyrically service the mental malnourished until I perish.
Life is an unpredictable and amazing journey. Our ever-changing conditions within today's society and the constant new trends influencing cultures can become overwhelming, to say the least. But no worries. The Network of Awareness podcast radio show brings peace of mind in these challenging times. Follow us on your favorite podcast listening app and join our community of Network of Awareness at networkofawareness.com. Yes, brothers and sisters, if you haven't done so already, subscribe at networkofawareness.com. All you got to do is put a name and an email address and nothing else, and you will not get any spamware. I normally send my emails now once a week, and I'll be updating them weekly. Sometimes I do forget, but it gives you a general email of all the things we have coming. And then once the TV network is up and running, I'll have links to that as well. That'll be constant reminders of things that are coming up, as well as things that are being released, and allowing you to have access, if you don't already, to these particular shows, which obviously nobody has access to, but you will. And then those that don't know about it and then are going to be coming into the fold or being new to this network and to the show and all that will have access to it. So don't forget to subscribe to the Network of Awareness. Shout outs to some of the people that have recently come into the chat room. Shout outs to Brother Kyle and Sister Mystic Royale. I've been meaning to tell you, Sister Royale, I really like those videos that you made, you and Kevin with your baby, man. Those are really nice videos. Very nice. Especially the one you're singing to your baby. That's really nice clip that I saw. I like seeing stuff like that. I like seeing people being happy with the things that the Most High gives them, which are the gifts, right? And children are a gift. And being somebody who didn't get to raise their child like they thought they would, and then learn some good, hard lessons from that, it's very important to raise your child with a 2-parent household, people. If you're going to have kids, make sure that you're going to have kids with the right person, man, because there's too many kids that are being raised in broken homes. And it's one of the reasons why we have such despair and ignorance roaming the streets with these young people, because they're not being taken care of. They're being neglected, because the people that are having these children are not responsible enough or not adhering to being a parent and really sticking to that. And it is what it is. So I asked people to put in some questions, and I saw that we do have some questions. So let me go back to where I saw the first question. And I believe the first question was by Brother Cook. So let's go to that. Brother Cook said, I had so many scams calling me. I started speaking Spanish and they would hang up. But now I have them calling me speaking in Spanish. Can't make it. That's a good one. I like that. Oh, man. Start speaking Swahili or Russian or something. Tell them you're from Russia or Ukraine. Or does doctors use scientific engineering, but do they use fear and mental control? Absolutely. Because a lot of doctors are scientists, right? Especially those that are in the field of study of psychology and psychiatry. They're scientists to a certain degree. They're considered doctors as well. Then you got the scientists that are performing mental experiments, like the people that are on those subterranean black flag, secret op projects that are scientists and doctors that are performing MK Ultra training exercises, mostly on prisoners in the military. So absolutely. All the time. It's one of the reasons why I'm doing the show, brother, because there's people working around the clock to use fear to control us. I mean, we just experienced one of the biggest fear-mongering propaganda social engineering tactics ever known to mankind, called COVID-19, a global pandemic. Alkaline J says, have you ever received one of those? You received a grant call? No, but I have experienced that with emailing and with getting calls, or not calls, but messages sent to my Google Business voice line in regards to getting not only grants, but scholarships to take certain courses. The crazy part is some of them are real, but they come with a lot of back end stuff. So even though they're going to pay for some of your college tuition, you have to come up with a certain money up front before they're even going to compensate you on the back end. Because I could have got a degree from a college in Miami in cybersecurity, and I was thinking about doing it, but I had to pay I forgot how much money it was to start out. I think it was $18,000 or $2,000, and I had to pay a full $16,000, and they would pay the rest and all that. But yes, brother, to answer your question, I have received those types of messages via email, and some of them were, well, one that I checked out was real, but a lot of them are fake too, believe it or not. Sorry to hear that, Brother Kyle. Brother Kyle had a bad day at work. You know, we got to let it go, brother. Let the Most High take care of it. There's always going to be something trying to take us off our course, whether it be in family, whether it be at work, whether it be in the streets, you know, and we just have to maintain sanity in a world of uncertainty and instability emotionally. So remain righteous, brother. All right. You know what probably could calm you down is if you get that shine box. Polish a couple of shoes. That might calm you down, brother. Do some push-ups. All right. Mystic Royale says, is zip code locations connected with these scams likely? I have suspicion that these being true from expecting loads of scam texts and calls in Nevada State. I asked because I noticed just being out here, I don't get much at all from knowing Nevada State is hardly any good. I just know the scam likely is increasing since being here. Yeah, there are designated pockets because a lot of these places are call centers and they're usually overseas. That's where they're from. And they target certain places by zip code and by phone number because people, what they're doing is they're buying data. There are companies that sell data, right? That's what Google does. Google sells our data. So does Facebook and all these other places. They're selling data to these private companies, private sector companies, and then they're in turn selling it. There's a lot of middlemen, and then eventually there's going to be somebody calling you to scam you, or somebody calling you to ask you to offer you a real service. Either way, it's still irritating because a lot of times they'll want you to get some of the dumbest crap ever. I remember I used to get a lot of calls to get a subscription to Sports Illustrated, Red Book magazine, like all these magazines, the Journal and the Wall Street and all that stuff, man. And you get it for a discounted price if you get it for the year and all. Oh, man, it was horrible. But I did have a text messaging glitch where I was getting hit up with like, I don't know, it was like 50 text messages a day, people. And when I contacted my phone company, they said there's nothing I could do about it but block them every time I get them. But it was just too annoying. So I just changed my number, and that's how I got rid of the problem. And that's unfortunate because I only had that number for a short period of time. But the number I had before that, I should have never changed it. But I changed it because I wanted to have a Florida number instead of a New York number in Florida. I just didn't feel like it was good business. All right, let's see what other questions we have here. If we have any. Do we have any left? Yeah, Letta's probably still listening, but she's probably busy working, sister. I know this is like a peak hour time for her. So sometimes when she's busy, you know, she can't text message. She's probably listening in a Bluetooth or something if she can. But she'll probably come back in before it's done. Also, when it comes to social engineering people, things to be aware of is don't get used to having your kids do certain things just because most of the other kids are doing it, right? Because that's something I noticed too with parents. There'll be certain social media trends, and then all of a sudden they'll have their children and recording them doing the same thing. I seen one of my family members record their son dancing on the wall, doing like some nay, some stripper dance and shaking his, it looked real feminine. It just didn't look right. But because it was trending, they recorded it, and, it's just not good, people. That consensus group thought type of social engineering is very real. It's probably one of the most prominent and prevalent forms that circulates throughout American culture and society. So I think we have another question. Let me read this. It says, I had a weird collection call, supposedly no voicemail or anything. I decided to call back on a little hotel phone. The woman that answered didn't seem professional, but she knew my name as well as my husband's. So to get better understanding of why she was calling before giving her my birthday and such, I asked, can I know what company you're calling from? She pretended she couldn't hear me, then hung up. That got under my skin because she knew our names. Yeah. And it's what I was talking about before, sisters, that they sell your data. Our data, listen, there's no way to avoid, if you want to be part of American society and culture, and you're going to be somebody that's within society, paying your bills, working a job, whether it be your own business, whatever. If you want to go to a store, if you want to buy something, if you want to go to the grocery, you got to remember that in the digital world that we live in, every time we make a transaction, not every transaction that we make can be in cash. So much so that there are places that are no longer taking cash. So whenever you're making electronic transfer of any size of amount, that strip, that magnetic strip that gets processed is processing a time frame, a location, a point of reference, and a whole background of identifiable information that is strictly connected to you. It is the way of this digital world. And it is part of the reason why part of the Luciferian agenda is to connect us digitally to where we lose spirituality and we're completely connected on some digital, it is called the Internet of Things. That's what that is part of the Agenda 21 plan, is to have us be connected to the Internet of Things globally. That's why Elon Musk wants to create that chip that goes into people's brain, that Cyberlink chip, because these people are sick and they really want world domination and they want people to be automatons and artificial intelligence ruling, and the spiritual aspect or the spiritual light of the Most High, they want to completely wipe out. Now, many of us that have faith over fear know that that will never happen, but it's going to be a battle. It's not something that we're not going to have to fight for, right? Because we all know that the Most High is about that battle if need be, but when the time is right. And when the time is right, it's one thing I always believe, and I heard from a pastor say that I completely agree with, and he put it in the forms of God. But when it comes to the Most High, man, the Most High may not be there when you think he needs to be, but the Most High is always on time. We have Sister Nita said that also happens with those fake sweepstakes or even getting an insurance quote. Yeah, a lot of times with the insurance quote, sisters, what they do too, being in insurance, I know a lot about this. They'll give you a legitimate quote, but they won't give you all the extra costs because they didn't do a full investigation to see what you can truly be approved for. Finally, a final improvement. So they'll get you in the door with an approximation, and next thing you know, once you get your final approval, it might jack up anywhere from $5 to $100, you know? So that's how it works, man. A lot of these institutions that are, you know, operating throughout the United States, it's all based on some form of manipulation, which ties into social engineering. It is the way of American society. Americans are very manipulative to the core. Americans are manipulative and narcissistic by design. It is the very reason why you had so many people from different ethnic backgrounds gravitating to a buffoon like President Trump. It wasn't because he was this great man or he was so wise. It was just because of the way he talked and the way he treated people. And if you're gravitating to somebody who talks and treats people a certain type of way, that means that you're like that too. You support that behavior because you're probably like that yourself. I didn't support him because I'm not no narcissistic piece of shit. And I'm not going to think that I'm better than somebody because based on what I have or based on who I know. I could give two fucks about what people have. Show me who you are on the inside. And then I can decide if you're somebody that's worthy of some form of admiration or not. Plain and simple, but you're never going to get veneration from me because the only thing I venerate is that which always is and always will be, which is the Most High, and that's it. Everything else is secondary, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. But we live in a society that's so egoic that social engineering has taken its course because we have a society that's also so desperate to please, so desperate to be part of something, so desperate to wanting to be accepted, so desperate to be part of a group because they feel lonely. It's just the way it is, people. That's just the way it is. Some things will never change. That's right. Shout out to Brother Cook. He says, Satan told us everything before it happened. We just have to catch it. Absolutely. And that is a universal principle that Satan himself and all the forces that follow him have to adhere to. They have to adhere to that. All right? Plain and simple. Cook said like 3 years ago, they put it out there that our data isn't safe and these search websites and so on. Yeah. It's been like that for years. That's been the whole, they showed us movies like that in the 80s that was saying how information is the true power. Whoever holds the information is the most powerful. Think about that. And that makes so much sense because whoever has all the information has all the knowledge, has all the power to manipulate based on the information they have. That's why the Vatican has all of those secret texts and scrolls that the Most High's people wrote. I bet you there's pictures of people that we never knew how they look, but there's actual drawings and paintings of these people. I bet you there's paintings of Moses, sculptures, or even, I bet you there's things that's been written for thousands and thousands of years in the Vatican that we don't know about. But it's all going to be revealed. Trust and believe that. Yeah. So what Letta said is be mindful of the company you keep, frequency vampires. I think her and I are going to do an episode on this in the future where we're going to specifically talk about, psychic vampires and how they take the energy away from you in a lot of different ways and different types of psychic vampires. So that's definitely an episode that I'll be doing with Letta in the future. So, brothers and sisters, I didn't know that, Sister Nami. She said YouTube sends those Russian bots when you're on a live. I don't go on live on YouTube unless it's connected to my StreamYard live. And I haven't done a StreamYard in a while. Brothers and sisters, I'm thinking about doing a StreamYard this Sunday. So let me know what's a good time for y'all to tune in. It'll be like an hour and a half. It'll be like a 90-minute to an hour show But just looking for y'all to join, you know what I'm saying? So we could chop it up like I've done in the past, where I stream. My StreamYard goes to my Facebook, it goes to my Twitter, and then I also have a new YouTube account that I could stream to, which is under my Passion Pursues Purpose email. And that's also now Network of Awareness. So I have it streamed to YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. And you brothers and sisters can join me. I'll probably put the promo out tomorrow. And it's just so we can just discuss current events, you know, and get a better understanding of this world we live in, people, and the things that are going on that we need to be aware and prepared for, righteously prepared at that. So I don't see any more questions, right? So it is what it is. So this is what I'll say. Yeah, I'm thinking about doing the show. I'm thinking about doing the show 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or maybe 2, but around there. I'm thinking more like 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock is a good time for a Sunday. So, you know, I guess that would be 12 Eastern Standard Time for you, Sister Danita. So that would work out. I'll put the promo out tomorrow, people. Look out for it. And I might put it out tonight, but definitely if I don't put it out tonight, I'll put it out tomorrow. And if you can join on one of those links, it's free. And then if you want to become part of the panel and actually join me directly in the conversation, that's even better. You know, you don't have to show yourself neither, because I know some people don't like being on camera. But if you're somebody I don't know and you don't want to be on camera, I don't know if I'm going to let you rock, but we'll see. Depends. But I prefer you show your face if you're going to be in a panel. If not, it's all good. We'll see if we'll get like some of the brothers to join or sisters to join. If not, it'll just be me. I'm working heavy on putting together the final touches to get this TV network up and running. There's still a lot of content that has to be put into the system. So I'll be working on that. And very much looking forward to this new journey I'm taking on TV. And I hope it could be everything that it's intended for it to be through the grace of the Most High, people. And I really pray that it's going to be something really successful for me. A lot of people say I deserve it, but I don't want to look at it from that perspective. I just want to do everything I can with it so that you can get the most out of it, and that will help it to be successful, because people will truly see the value in what I present on a TV network and actually maintain their subscriptions to want to keep it for a long period of time, for years and years to come. So I ask that you use some faith and discernment when following my TV network, because it's going to be a lot of great information. And I truly believe that the TV network is going to allow me to truly be my uncensored self again. So I want to also make note of this before I go, people. My shows are still going to be done on Spreaker and all the other platforms that it distributes to. But understand that I'm not going to be all that I can be on this particular show, because I've already been flagged. I've already have a certain algorithm that's traced to my IP address. So what I'm using this platform for is to provide information, but that information will have limits to it, because the more I shouldn't say over the top, but the more in depth, the more informative, the more like everything that the network represents will be on the TV network, because it's not getting censored. And that was the whole purpose behind this move. It wasn't so much to get onto the TV, but it was really to get people the opportunity to see and experience the network of awareness in its full, true form. Unfortunately, I can't do that on Spreaker because all this shit is controlled by big tech companies. All these damn algorithms, even with my ad insertion, even when I get high downloads, I get low impressions. It makes no sense. It's like, how do I have so many downloads but such little? Because it's all being controlled. So with the TV network, it's going to be all subscription based. And then you pay monthly, you get content to watch on a monthly basis. All right, people? So I appreciate all of y'all. And before I go, like I always say, people, don't look for the light at the end of the tunnel. Because the light is and always will be within you, people. And I love y'all so much, man. Understand and know that the light is within y'all. And, light up the tunnel and find your way through the darkness, because that light at the end of the tunnel is too far. When the light inside you is so near and dear to your heart and to your mind and to your soul, get out your own way and allow Yahweh, allow the Most High to guide the way. And just pay heed to the messages and be aware and prepared and never be scared, because it's always about faith over fear. So when you live in the present, there's always an opportunity for a new beginning. So be present and start that new beginning on your life. Start to work on the new goal. Start to change aspects of your character that you don't like. Start to raise your spirit with activity that serves your spiritual growth, and do away with that which doesn't. And always give praise to the Most High. Barak Atah, brothers and sisters, until we meet again next week.